Hello and welcome to the regular edition, Tuesday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Tonight we have two main topics of discussion. We'll talk a bit about the post-match Ipswich win and third league win on a spin. And we'll do a preview of Man City. And obviously we'll talk about other things in between. And we'll take questions of those in the chat channel. Right. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to Blaine, who I know from Sean Butler's WhatsApp group. He's making his debut on Spurs Diehards. He's also in the process of building his own channel, which I'm sure will be up and running by, I don't know, end of March, April, something like that, because he's a busy man. So Blaine, how are you, mate? All right?
Yeah, not too bad, Adrian. Thanks for having me on. It's debut on the channel. It's not the debut having us together on stream. We've been on a couple of times on Shawnee's channel, if you remember back. Mm-hmm. But glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to be here. Yeah, you're not wrong about working, by the way, buddy. I am exhausted. But keep at the grindstone. Nice to have you. Nice to have you invite me on.
We've got one comment, Graham. Well, Graham, the link's in the chat if you want to come on, because one of our other guests has internet trouble. And the other one's got obviously something to come up family-wise or whatever. So we are a bit short, but we can carry on with two. But if you want to come on, Graham, just click that link and I'll get you on, mate.
Graham owes us his pleasure on the channel, Adrian. He's got a couple of gifted members for me on different channels in the last couple of days, so he owes us.
Right, okay. Right, let's go down to the banners. So where are we now? Hang on, I've got to get the banners again. Right. We're going to talk about post-match Ipswich. Ian covered a lot of this on Sunday, but because we like to do 3 shows a week, you get different audiences, don't you? So we might repeat to some of our viewers, hopefully. But we'll also be able to give new viewers our take on the game. So post-match Ipswich away. A good 4-1 victory, in my opinion, although it wasn't easy. The 4-1 sounds like a convincing win. It was far from that, in my opinion. Ipswich were a tough nut to crack, you know.
Gave us a scare in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's putting it bluntly.
Right. Graham saying, cheers, Adrian. Cheers, Blaine, for the membership. You're too generous, my friend. See? That's good.
Anytime, Graham. Anytime.
It's good to be appreciated. And like I said, if anyone comes in, wants to come on, we don't mind getting a couple of you on. Right. When am I back on the banners again before I lose track? Yeah. We talk about players' performances. Blaine, Sonny, 2 assists in this game. He did look fresh.
He did.
He did look fresh, and he was taking players on. He's been justified critiqued this season, but he has got 20 contributions in all his games this year. His numbers are good, but even to me, the eye test, he's looked knackered.
I think he just had a great matchup on Saturday. Your boy Ben Godfrey, he couldn't track him at all. He was caught out too many times. And Sonny still, his best play has always been on the counter. Running into space, not having to take on 2 or 3 men in a close, confined area. It's never really been his forte. What I'd love to see is Sonny back to his old cut inside, first-time shot, bend it into the corner, job done. But I think those days of Sonny are gone, personally. I think, though, he still does a good job for us when he has space and time. That's that, and you could see that on Saturday. He just looked a far better player.
Well, he's going to be with us for another season. There's no chance of them rumours of Menu. He's not going to leave Spurs. He loves the club. You know what I mean? So we'll see how he goes next year. And we don't know towards the end of the season. I'm hoping actually, because he's still our best finisher. You know, I'm hoping that he can play every other game. Or if he's going to play 2 games on a spin, play for an hour and play for an hour and be taken off. And he gets his sharpness back, because I see a bit of energy in a couple of the other games recently as well from him, even though we got knocked out both them cups. But he seemed to the time off. We've had 2 weeks where the team have had a chance to rest because they haven't had no midweek games, and even after the Man City game tomorrow, we don't play again to the following week till Alkmaar away, so there'll be even more rest period. It'll be.
There will. I think, look, I love Sonny. His shirt's up behind me, right? He's hands down my favorite player of the last decade, right?
Yeah.
Without risk of sounding a bit of a flip-flop and staying true to what I've said throughout the season, Sonny cannot do it in games where there's a low block. See, in those type of games, I want to see somebody trickier who's going to take on his man to the byline and put in a cross. Too often, he's been guilty this season of wastefulness, dwelling on the ball, inviting pressure. Those games where it's a bit more stretched and you have a bit more time to get in behind the back line, I think Sonny will still do a job for us. But I agree with you. I think, 45 minutes, half an hour, maybe the odd game 60 minutes. I'd like to see Audibert being our starting left flanker next year.
Yeah, because with the Audibert thing, because it looks like, well, if you believe the rumours, then we will sell Solomon. And we didn't pay any money for him. So if we get 10 or 15 mil for him, if he's playing away for Leeds, we get even more. But he was another option. But then you got Yang Min Hook and you at QPR, like so, and you got Mikey Moore and you got Tell, and like so. Yeah, we're not short of options in the wing position, and when I hear us being linked with wingers, I just can't help thinking, well, hang about what we need is a number 9, but then you don't know if we're going to pay the extra money or if Tell stays at the end of the season before we go looking for another number 9, and you've still got Scarlett and Velez. It's all very hard to predict. All we can do is speculate all the time, which is what we do, but it's because we're interested. We want to know more what's going on, but we don't really know what the plans are.
Look, we might get into it later. I think our bigger problem's in midfield.
Yeah, it's our biggest problem. Yeah, that's Sonny, 2 assists, 10 goals. So his numbers are good. We'll see what he finishes with the end of the season. He might have a charge on, because normally when he gets going, he scores in clusters, doesn't he? And then he doesn't score. He's not like an every other game scorer. When he gets them, it's like 5 or 6 games he scores, and he don't score for 4 or 5.
When was it, a couple of seasons ago he hadn't scored at all and then got the hat-trick against Leicester, coming off the bench, coming back into fitness. So that spurred him on at that time. He could hit a rich vein of form, and if he did, he's hitting it at the right time of the season for us.
We're going to move on to another player now who I didn't want. Oh, Mepen's here.
Oh,
hello, Mepen. How are you?
I'm good, Adrian. What about you? You're doing fine?
Yeah, I'm fine. Do you know Blaine? You know him from the WhatsApp group. I don't know if you've been on a show with him at all or not.
No, first time. Mappin, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you. Your name is Brian?
Blaine.
Brain?
Blaine. BL.
Oh, Blaine, yeah.
Blaine.
I actually got confused with Brian, yeah.
Oh, Brian. I bet it's not the first time that's happened to Blaine.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool name, by the way. Yeah.
So is Mappin, to be fair.
So how are you? And tell us where you are, Mappin. Are you in Nepal?
You mean I'm in the pool?
No, Nepal, the country. What
yeah. I'm in Nepal. I'm in Asia at the moment.
Oh, right. Yeah. What's the time zone there at the moment?
It's about 2 a.m.,
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's quite late, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're talking about the Ipswich game at the moment, and we're going to move on. We've just Well, no, I'll get your take, actually. What's your take on Sonny? I mean, like, he's looked bright. He looked bright against, he was good, actually, against Ipswich. 2 assists he got, 10 goals and 10 assists so far this season. The numbers are good, but as I said, he hasn't really looked good on the eye test, the sharp, slippery Son that we know,
Yeah. So, yeah, Sons has been hit and miss this season for what I've seen with him, Like, he's produced numbers, but with the eye test, he has seemed lackluster, with his passes. His finishing has been a really let down this season. Like against Fulham, he missed a penalty. Against Aston Villa, that miss cost us the game. Otherwise we could have tied that game with 2-2 and other few which we can remember. But overall, he has contributed to the fact that he has produced some good numbers, which most informed wingers in the Premier League are yet to produce. Like Saka, Martinelli, and other wingers. So Son is doing okay, but according to his standards, it's quite low. But it's all about age right now. I think we need to manage his minutes well. I think Ange needs to manage his minutes well, and we need to move on. But
Yeah.
Son is still a player, and he's not
Yeah.
finished by any means, I think.
Yeah, we were saying that like he needs give him a half or an hour in games. We'll see how he goes. I mean, because like other players in their 30s, Ronaldo, Messi, even some of the defensive defenders, they're playing 34, 35, 36. I mean, Salah's doing brilliantly at Liverpool.
Salah is exceptional.
We'll know more when the rotation for this team continues and players can be rested. We'll then know more. I'm not quite ready to throw Sonny under the bus just yet because I want to see how he goes for the rest of the season, what minutes he's given, and seeing because. And we've got options now. We've got so many options. When I do my predicted lineups, like I know I'm not going to get them right. It's very hard to second guess ends. The best of times.
It's tough to guess lineup. What will he come up with against City? I think it's tough.
Right. We'll move on to another good contributor in this game now, Johnson.
Yeah.
He gets 2 goals, right?
Yeah.
14 goals and 3 assists. They are. I mean, these are awesome numbers for a wide player. 1 in 4 was always considered good, getting 10 goals a season. He only scored 5 last year, I think. He was blasting them over the bar. I thought, oh, what we bought here. Because when I looked at videos before he come to the club, I wasn't. I've warmed to him though. Blaine, what's your opinion on Johnson? Are you a fan or a non-fan? Or
I'm so on the fence with him because you can't deny his stats, right? The man gets in the right positions at the right time, and that for us is vital. As long as you have good balls coming into him or somebody that can tee him up, the man will stick it away 9 times out of 10. The problem for me is he's not a proper winger. Actually, he reminds me a lot of Tell. Tell, I think, is more natural goal scorer, but Johnson will get into the right areas at the right time. You try and give him the ball though down the flank, he can't cross. He can't take his man on. He always goes sidewards or backwards. And there's another thing. For a guy who's 23, 24, Adrian?
23. He might be 24 now. Yeah.
He looks out of steam after 20 minutes. I probably got more fitness than him.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
it's weird. I can't sum him up.
What's your take on Son Meppin?
Son? Oh, you mean Johnson? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Johnson. Sorry.
Johnson, it's a weird man, but the things he does, getting in the byline, finding himself in space. I think in that sense he's a top notch. His positioning sense is really good. But I think what I'm guessing is I think Ainge doesn't want wingers who just takes on his man and does this fancy stuff. He wants wingers who scores goals. That's why he added Till to his by next list. I think Johnson is a good player, but he's limited to his attributes. But over his contribution is top notch, I think. But he's sometimes frustrating, when he doesn't get onto those bylines, when he doesn't gets onto the spaces. It's hard for us to watch. But he's a good player from my sense.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at videos of him before he come, I thought, what's the fuss? What's all the fuss about this guy? Right.
Yeah.
But what made me sort of look up was when he got that goal against Coventry in the League Cup. He was taking loads of abuse on social media, and I was under a lot of pressure. And then he comes. It was a cool finish, and then after that, because I thought, he's blasting over the bar last season like Werner and all this. Or what we got here, and then, but he is a good finisher actually. He is a good finisher, and he scored a few quality goals. I mean, like, I heard the term tapping merchant. I got that last year. I would have gone along with that last year. I'm seeing more from him. I want to see a lot more. I want to see more goal involvement. Right, I think we all do. The best game I think he's had when he hasn't scored was against Man City in the League Cup. Then he was helping out a lot. He got a bit more involved. He needs to do a lot more of that, because the fan base, they're not very forgiving if you don't put a shift in, you know. And, it doesn't take much for him to turn on him.
I think that what exposes a problem is whenever you have him in partnership with Porro, because Johnson does nothing really to try and track back very quickly. Porro's normally 70 yards up the pitch, so you're so exposed on that right-hand side.
Well, another thing on that, Blaine, is like when Porro's playing with Decky regularly before Johnson was there, they used to get the overloads on the right-hand side. Sometimes you'd find Porro in the wing position and Decky on the edge in the close space on the corner on the penalty area, or they would reverse it and all that. I'm not seeing that. Porro seems more keen to want to go and have a crack at goal himself. So Johnson is getting a bit isolated, and I don't know if it's deliberate that he's told, like when Werner's, just stay out on the wing, keep the defenders occupied. But there's times when you need to come back and help out, as you've alluded to, like, you know. And but I just think there was a better cohesion when Decky's playing with Porro than there is when Porro's playing with Johnson. I mean, it's just because on the other side, Udogie, when he's fit, he doesn't invert, but Spence would invert. We can come to that later. We'll talk about it later, not now. Right, yeah. So on the other side, you know, there's not. I don't see. I mean, he might invert now and again, Udogie, but normally he plows his way down, and like that's a different side of the pitch anyway, isn't it? You know. Yeah.
But it's strange to me with Johnson because you know, you've got a fantastic forward line if you're putting balls into the box. Johnson doesn't. And as you say, he's looking now to feed back to, say, Porro, who's striking it from 20 yards. Porro, whenever he overlaps and make that last second run, whip a ball into the box, that's whenever we look really dangerous. But Decky isn't going to get there at the back post for something coming from the other side. So you want a combination of both. That's the ultimate player, right?
Yeah, Kulusevski, I think, he doesn't do those back post runs, get himself in this space. He's more in terms of getting in those bylines, throwing those crosses, you know, throwing those crosses into those target men like Solanke. I see him doing a lot more. But I think Johnson, he's quite limited, but he excels in what he does in terms of his movement, you know. You can fire an accurate cross in the back post area. I think he will be 9 times out of 10 in those areas. He'll find himself be there. And that's what he does, scoring goals, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of tracking back, pressing, I think he's quite lazy as well. His work rate is quite low. Yeah, I think that so Johnson, he's effective, but sometimes it's just frustrating to watch. But I don't mind scoring goals.
Is that you, Colin? If it's two sides of the pod, if it's your day off, the link's in the channel if you want to come on, mate. But if you're working, I'll understand it. If you're on the phone or whatever.
Yeah, I was working as well. But this is jump on, you know, for Adrian.
Right, let me move back to the banners.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. I'll stay with you, Mappin. Spence.
Yes, yeah.
He's
Wow,
been
Spence.
a revelation. I mean, Girona could have bought him for $8.5 million. He's now looking like a 50-60 million pound player. He's got 1 goal against Ipswich. He's got 2 goals because he scored against Coventry in the League Cup. He's got us back into the game there, and he's got 2 assists. What's your take on Spence?
Spence has been terrific. Like the way he glides past players, the way he dribbles with the ball, his ball control is amazing. And defensively, you know, he's amazing. The tackles he puts in, the work rate he puts in. I think he has locked up many wingers like Brian Umbuemo, Salah. They couldn't find any spaces when he's on the left. You know, like I didn't know this guy was this good. Like there was few signs when we saw him in the preseason, but oh my god, like I didn't know like he was this good. he has been really a bright spot in our this tough adversity. Like we are 12, 15 in the league, but I haven't seen him play bad a single game. Like when we're really poor, he still seems to play well. He still seems to be doing his job. So Spence, I think he's a really good talent, but it was sad and took this long to find him in the starting spot. The way he treated him was really bad as well. Like in the Carabao Cup, he puts him in the bench and plays Archie Gray as right back. That makes no sense at all. And when he comes and he scores a goal and saves our ass, like in the final minute, like just Spence has been really a redemption. Like he's been an inspiration to lots of people as well, I think. That's one thing, yeah.
Blaine, your take on Spence?
He's given us our biggest headache because who's for our best starting fullbacks? He
I
can
think
cover
Spence
left,
and
cover right.
yeah.
And that's, I guess, where now there's going to be a real headache for Ange. I'll not jump ahead, but who does he start against City?
Yeah,
Because
we'll get into that later. Yeah.
Who do you drop out of the three? For me personally, I'd have a Doggy and Spence starting.
Yeah, I think I would prefer that as well.
But what a revelation. The guy's was an outcast under Conte, outcast under Ange at the beginning. And he's come into the squad and blown that position wide open. What breath of fresh air.
He was with Neil Warnock at Middlesbrough. He got farmed out to Forest. He destroyed Arsenal in the cup. Then, he went to Leeds next, didn't he? And then from Leeds to Genoa, I think.
Yeah.
And they had an option to pay $8.5 million for him. I'm glad they haven't got him now. And we still didn't know what we had until he's come back here. Andrew's obviously had a word with him, and it's obviously something's clicked.
Yeah.
And there was reports out of Girona they had terrible attitude problems as well.
Yeah.
Whether you believe it or not is another thing. But
he had a stint in France as well, did he? Did he have a stint in France as well? I can't remember.
Need to remind myself, but
and like his comeback, I had a look at him. First few appearances, I'm thinking, he looks good going forward. And then pre-season games, he played at left back and ended up on the right wing in one part of pre-season.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, like, can you defend? Can you defend? Right. And he's shown that he can over the last few appearances I've seen him playing, I thought, and very good. And he will hold on to the ball and he will try and get past. If he's got two players on him, he'll still try and get through them and get past it. He won't just, in the old days, players would just put the ball into touch rather than take a risk. But he's like Romero. He'll always hold on to the ball. And, I have been so impressed. And, when I think of how much him and Danso have saved us in the transfer market already. Saved us.
By the way, your memory is still sharp as a tack, and well done. He went out to Rennes before he went to Leeds.
Right, yeah.
Only got 6 minutes or so.
Defensively, I think it's really hard to press him as well. I think,
and he's got that. He can he's got that ability when he's going forward to just shift slightly left or right and glide past players. It's not so much a dribbler. He's got more of that. Remember Moussa Dembele used to do that when he used to sort of someone just shake and go past players.
Just a little bit of balance change, and still stay so stable. Do you know the other thing that really impressed me with Spence is his situational awareness. See if we're caught out in the counter, he's bombing it back from the other flank to cover and fill in. I mean, I don't see that from Porro too often. I don't see that from Adogi too often.
But I think Porro's got, I don't know if it's concentration issues, but Spencer's, like you've alluded to, he's got a football IQ.
Yeah.
He can sense the danger. All right, there might be games when, I remember when Carl Walker first came to Spurs, he was forever getting caught upfield when we were losing possession, then we were scoring goals and all that. Him and Rose went out on loans first, didn't they? And then he learned to balance his game. You get that instinct of when to go and when to stay, stick or twist. And I think Spence, talked about it with David Harris and another about the fact that although we want to see him on the right, and he's looked good on the left, and we haven't seen much of him on the right. I'm sure he'll do a very good job on the right anyway. But England aren't exactly blessed with left backs, and he could do a job for them there, I think. I think he's close to a call. I'll be surprised if he doesn't make the squad.
If he doesn't make the squad, it's diabolical in my opinion. As you've alluded to, who else starts ahead of him, or even who's been more consistently performing in that spot over the last couple of months.
Yeah. He deserves to be called up, even if they get in the squad, and then they can look at him and decide whether they. I mean, you've still got Kyle Walker on the right, and you've still got Trent. But on the left, not exactly blessed. Right, let's move on to this guy. There's another has been critiqued a lot. Maddison. 10 goals, 9 assists this season. Stovey Blaine. That was a lovely assist for Spence, though. His footwork was excellent.
Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Unbelievable. Footwork like that should be, you'd see that in the disco floors back in the day. Swift change of movement, his feet going a mile a minute. Maddison, I think, as long as he doesn't have to have that job of being a box-to-box midfielder, and you just give him the role of going and floating anywhere behind the front three, let him go and create pockets of space, let him go and create time on the ball, that's when you see a true James Maddison. This rigidity where he's played, I know you don't like to put numbers on players, but making him play as an 8 rather than just being a creative midfielder, it stifles him. Now, is he as good at unlocking defenses when you see a low block? That's still a bit of a question mark for me. But there's no doubt in my mind, Maddison in conjunction with Bergvall are probably our two most creative midfielders at the club at the moment.
He's better when we're moving the ball quickly, because then we got a chance of something happening and breaking open a low block. I think also the more that Decky plays in the midfield role, because Decky can be more of the battering ram and hold the ball, it gives Maddison playing as more as a sort of cam, then he's got more space. I think it gives Maddison more space.
I've said it before, I don't like seeing Decky playing out in the right. I still, to me, I think Decky is that number 8. As you say, ball retention, creating that space, drawing in a couple of defenders in, slip it to Maddison, and you've created that pocket of space.
And I think I'm hoping we see that now that Odobert and Johnson are fit. Mapan, what's your take on Maddison?
Yeah, Maddison is a really good technical player on his day, but he's a bit weak as well, he's easy to get knocked off the ball, I think, and he's a bit physically weak. He can be dominated in the midfield, but overall his technical ability, there's no doubt about him. He can really he has the vision to pass, he has the vision to take on his player, he has the ability to cross, but he's a bit inconsistent towards it, and he's too injury prone in my
I mean, I noticed that with Maddison and Tielemans at Leicester when they got relegated, them two didn't dig them out of the hole. You had Ndidi, was it there? That was the one really that a bit more of the glue there for them. But no, he's not going to dig you out of the hole. Look, his numbers are excellent. I mean, his numbers are excellent. Again, it's the problem with Blaine's alluded to early on, and midfield consistently is non-existent, really. We'll see if it changes now. Players are coming back fit and you can rotate them. It might just be freshness other than that,
Yeah.
Even though, I think that Graham's and Berg, as his name is Bergvall, you don't pronounce the G in Bergvall, it's Bergvall in Swedish, I think. But they're not going anywhere. And neither's Maddison. Bentancur, they reckon they're offering him a new contract, so he's staying. So, to me, Basuma's well under threat. And to be honest, I wouldn't be sad to see him gone. But
I would be bothered as well. Bissouma, I think he needs to go.
He's been so inconsistent through his career with us. Plus, Adrian, he's got a year left on his contract in the summer. We'll want to cash in on that. We're not going to offer another contract at 20 Is he like 27, 28?
Yeah, we'll come on to that because, like, after we've discussed the game and that, and these players, we'll come on to that. Players coming and going. This guy's been immense this season. He's got to have been our best player, right? He got 1 goal in the game, which was a fantastic finish. 10 goals and 10 assists. That's not really. I mean, I've always been a big fan, right? And when I remember when he first came to the club, he had 2 cameo appearances, and people said, "Oh, look, he's rubbish. He's too slow." Blah blah blah. And yet, in his third game, he made his debut, and Sonny squared it for him against Man City, and he scored. He's a big game player, Kula. He's now captain of Sweden, and maybe he should be captain of Spurs. Mapping. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he has a good leadership in him. I think mentality-wise, he's up there as well. He always wants to. I see him as a player who always wants to improve his craft on what he's doing. And on the midfield, I really like him. He's physical. He can drive with the ball. He can take on players. He can pass. He can shoot. And I don't know why people feel like he's a bad player. In my eyes, I think he has the potential to be one of the top players. But my criticism with him is he gets dispossessed too easily. I think whenever he's in the tight. Yeah, I think when he's on the wings, I think he gets dispossessed. I think, but I think the thing is, he gets isolated as well on the wings. There's no overlapping the supporting. So I think at that moment he gets dispossessed. I think he's the player in the Premier League to get dispossessed the most by stats. I think, but overall he's a top player in my view.
But do you think that's going to? So whenever he's played out in the right wing, could right foot, right? So he's always looking to cut back in or come back and then deliver a cross in or deliver a square pass. Do you think it's a lot of the dispossession just simply down to him not trusting his right foot?
Yeah, I think that might be the case as well. But
he's got a good right foot, though. That's the thing. I mean, when we won 3-2 at City and the third goal, when he crossed with his right foot and Kane smashed the header in. Right?
I know. That's what I said. Didn't expect it. Nobody expected it.
Yeah. On the midfield with Maddison, the few games he played against Manchester United, against Brentford, I think he was at the top of his game at those times. But Ainge, I don't know why he threw him back into the wings, that made his performance drop a while. And I think he's been playing way too many games as well.
Yeah. He's looking tired.
Yeah, to impact his performance, I think.
And Kulu, I mean, he is versatile. A lot of time he's given the ball in what you'd call not exactly an envious position. I mean, like on the pitch, because he's usually there to hold it up. I mean, no one will forget, like, when Basuma got sent off against Luton away and VDV scored shortly after half-time, and Kula was the main person who got us through that game because he just kept hold of the ball. A lot of the time, this is what annoys me with our wingers, Blaine and Mappin, A lot of the time when they receive the ball, they've got their backs to the goal. So they can only go on half-turn or pass it back, right? Unless you're lightning quick on the turn. But you looked at Sonny against Ipswich. The first one was like a lovely ball by Gray to him, but he could run onto it and get the jump Godfrey. And the second one was a defence splitting pass through to Sonny from Bentancur. And I didn't know Bentancur had that sort of pass in it, to be honest with you. I thought it was more of a short pass. And again, he could run onto it. And this is the thing, if we're moving the ball quicker, doing things quicker, our wingers can get a jump on the opposing fullbacks. But I just think Kula's a fantastic player.
I think as well.
Yeah.
I think the Juventus are missing Kula with the number 10 as Cup Miners. Yeah. I think you would start in Liverpool, I think, with Szoboszlai. I think he's better than Szoboszlai with the abilities he's got.
But he was a lot younger when he was at before he went to Juve. I saw him actually see Isaac as well, and another player played for Sweden at the time in the under-21s, and I thought a mate put me on to Kulusevski, and before he even went to Juventus, and instead of seeing the kid looks hot, well, we don't know they're young. But he was young when he was at Juve to get rid of, because he's only 23, 24 now. You'd think he was 34. You know what I mean? Like, he's been about quite a while. And he only came in January of Bentancur. They've got to be two of the best. And Bentancur, I didn't know nothing about before he came here.
Did you know about Kulusevski? Did you know about Kulu before he came at Tottenham at Juventus?
Yeah.
You knew about him?
Yeah, I knew about Kulu. I didn't know about Bentancur.
Oh, yeah.
I do watch lots of videos, but then the problem with watching too many videos, I forget who I've watched or what player it is. I mean, like me and Blaine were talking about. I don't know if we were talking about Fratesi earlier. Spurs might we talk about later. But like, I vaguely remember him because when you watch all these, you got to go back and watch him again. You know.
Adrian, a bit like me the other night, getting Ian and Jose mixed up.
Yeah.
Watching too much Spurs content.
Oh, but when people know that that you're sort of well informed and all that, they know that's like a genuine mistake, and you're not not someone who's just blagging it. Scarlett mapping. What have you made of him? And I'll tell you my opinion because I watched him as a 17-year-old.
Oh, I didn't watch him at that age. I think Scarlett, he's a young player, talented, but I don't think he will get opportunity at Spurs. I think in the summer, I think he will be sold. I think we've got Lancashire, Terrell, Solanke, Richarlison. I don't know what will happen with him. I haven't seen enough of him. Like he couldn't start in Ipswich. I think Oxford, he was benched. He couldn't get a game time there. I don't know what would happen with him.
It was at Ipswich as well when they were getting promoted, so he didn't get much game time there. Yeah. And it's a shame because he's always scored at every England level. And when
he scored on the 90s.
England and scoring.
He scored. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen
him
playing? I mean, he scored that goal when Kane played his last game. We beat Shakhtar Donetsk 5-1. Kane scored 4. Then he got a nice goal on the turn in the box and scored. And he's got the recent goal against Elfsberg, which that was from a Decky left wing cross. But he's good position because he had to come and meet the ball and head it and smash it home. You know what I mean? Head it home, right? So
Scarlett's a bit of an enigma, right? Because again, this is another area that we have a problem, but a good kind of problem, right? So Solanke will be our number one striker whenever he's fully fit. For me, and we'll get to it later, Richie will probably be sold this summer. I hope he is.
Yeah, I hope he is as well.
Course, right? Yeah, Richie will go, I think.
But do the club bring in another striker, given you've got Scarlett, you've Lancashire, who was the under-21's top goal scorer, right? And Mason Melia. And Melia is meant to be this, next generational talent that we've signed.
Yeah, and is he 18 now? Is he 18 yet?
He's 17 or 18, yeah, right.
You can't sign a professional contract till you're 18. So,
and Ange apparently has promised him first team football next season. That's part of the reason why he came to the club.
Yeah.
So, where does Scarlett fit in all this? Is he going to be happy enough being third or fourth choice?
Well, this is it. I mean, I see Scarlett when he was 17 before the whole academy structure's been ripped up by Paratici, did all that, and the teams were doing so well. But now that over half the team are out on loan, they're not doing so well this season, which is understandable. But Scarlett, when you get a player there's 22 players on the field, when you get a player that stands out head and shoulders, he just stood out as a 17-year-old, as the best player out there on the pitch when I watched him play. He's going to have a good career. He will score goals. I think he is a natural goal scorer, but whether it's at Spurs or not, that's another thing, isn't it? Like you mentioned Lancashire. They reckon he's the nearest thing to Kane. He got 23 league goals in 22 games last season, over 30 in all the cup competitions, and now he's at Edinburgh. And I get it, and when people say, "Oh, why they let him go," you've got to consider it's saying like, bring Phillips back. Yeah, but then you get our central defenders are fit. And these players are sitting on the bench for the rest of the season when they need to develop. So you've got to make the right call, and so they've let them out. So they've let him out. They've let him go, Lancashire, and Donnelly as well.
One point on Lancashire, right? I think he got a bit of a bad steer, right? You chucked him in debut against Galatasaray in that environment. He still scored, yeah, okay, bit of naivety as young. he got himself sent off stupidly. But he was left out in the cold since then. And I'm sorry, you could have started him against Tamworth. That quality of opposition, that could have given him a bit of a confidence boost. I do think, though, Lancashire needs another season on loan. Maybe at a League One club, kind of similar to what we've done with Donnelly.
Yeah.
Give him that experience at proper, full men's football rather than just under 21s. It'll harden him a bit. Go through trials and tribulations, and that's what players of that age need. Yeah. That's just my opinion on it. But Scarlett, unless we sign another striker, I would keep him. I think he offers something different in terms of his hold-up play. He's not the quickest. He's not going to burst through and beat a backline for pace. But what he does do is hold up the ball really well, invite players in and develop the play around him. And then, as you say, Adrian, get into the box and he's a natural goal scorer.
He is. I mean, I think he's a natural goal scorer. And he's a decent finisher. And he may kick on. I mean, Lancashire's a decent finisher as well. I mean, it's just like what Ange wants. I mean, Lancashire does press. I don't know if he blotted his copybook by scoring that goal at Galatasaray and then getting sent off. Maybe there's a trust factor there. I don't know. Yeah, we'll come on to that. We'll come on to that when we talk about transfers afterwards, right? So these two guys, I've paired them up now because these weren't. How do you think Doggy did on his comeback mapping? And Vicario as well.
I think he was all right. I think fatigue did caught up in his knees, but overall, I think he was all right. He didn't look too tired. He was a bit sharp with the ball. I think the way he drove forward, I think it was good to watch, but it wasn't the same. He was sharp. I think it's normal. I think he will slowly get more sharper, be more quicker, and I think him and Udogie would make a really good. Him and Spence will make a really good pairing in the coming. I want to see Poro being rested quite more because Poro leaves us quite more open at the back. I think I'm really frustrated with the guy. He's never in his position. Going forward, he does some decent things, but yeah, Udogie, I think when Udogie first came on against Brentford, I was really impressed with him, like how I was impressed with Jet Spence. But slowly but slowly, he regressed. He had a few mistakes in him, but now I think he carried a knock, but I think now he will return to his best with Spence as a fullback pairing. Yeah.
Blaine, what do you thought? I mean, I'll be on your Doggy. I think he's been. I mean, I really rated him last year. I thought he could go and be one of the best backs on the planet. I still think he's got the ceiling to do that. He didn't have a proper pre-season. He was injured. I think he was rushed back, and I just think this season he's been poor.
Yeah, like I didn't manage to catch the game live. I was watching highlights, listening to it on the radio, etc. So I didn't really get much of a chance to.
He was all right against Ipswich. No, he was all right. He was decent. He was decent against Ipswich.
But I'll tell you who I will comment on is Vicario. And it's something that people are not pointing out. Vicario has come back, and if you notice, he's taking balls in the air with confidence, and he's commanding his penalty area. Now, I don't know what he's been doing in his training to get back to full fitness, but something is in him. I don't know if he's seen Kinski as a proper threat to his number one position.
I do. I think he does.
Yeah, I need to start saving.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah,
but something changed in that man. Yeah, he has looked phenomenal since coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Vicario, he's a bit better now, defending set pieces, corners, and that, and also players around him are being a bit more aggressive and pushing and shoving other players. Personally, I don't like that part of the game, and I wish it'd be more. And it's because it's in between a phase, like. It's unlikely that a player's going to get booked or sent off. Referees go over and have a word, and you see it all too often. And I don't like it, but it's not going to stop because if you go and Google the amount of goals that are scored from corners compared to were 5 years ago, it's just shot up exponentially. And a lot of this is because of this pushing and shoving in the box. Like,
true. Just another comment, and actually, I'd like your opinion on this, guys. Do you reckon because Vicario doesn't have the distribution skill of, let's say, Kinski, right, where he's confident with his feet. Does that actually help us in some ways? Because we're not then forced to being playing out from the back all the time.
But I think Ange still persists him to play out from the back, even though he's not good at it. Like Fraser Froster, he was nowhere good with playing out from the back.
He is persistent with it, but you notice whenever we're maybe doing a bit of build up from the back, you're not feeding it, let's say, out to Porro and then back to Vicario out to Adogi, whatever way you want to look at it. It's more direct in the build up play at the back.
Yeah, I've seen Kings kick a ball long as well whenever he's in pressure. Like against Liverpool, he was very symbolic. He kept the ball away. He kicked the ball out of the line. But I think whoever the keeper is, I think Ange will persist to play out from the back more often. I think whenever the player is under pressure, I think they will kick the ball long due to their own player instinct. But most of the time, whenever there's a goal kick or something else, Ange will persist from playing out from the back, I think, because he wants to attract pressure and beat that press to create space in the front. I think that's what Ange likes to do.
I think Kingsley probably more the accurate kicker, and whereas Vicario is a bit more agile. I think Vicario looks to play the easy ball with his feet, more to a defender, which makes all fans like they get nervous when you're playing out from the back, especially when you start, faffing about with the ball in the back four, Whereas I think Kingsley's more eager to launch it, to try the longer ball out. And even if you lose the longer ball out, at least it's out of the danger area for a little while, unless the opposition get it and swing it straight back in. They've both got their good points, haven't they? And I think there's room for both of them to improve as well.
Yeah.
And look, there's no doubting Vicario is our best shot stopper in the team.
Yeah.
And whenever we're not, an average of, I was looking up the stats before this. So all season we average 11 shots on our goal a game, 6 of which are on target. Right? Who would you rather have between the sticks?
It's always Vicario.
Well, it's easy to say that Vicario wouldn't have let that goal in by Aston Villa in the first minute.
My God.
It's an easy call to make, though, isn't it? If you want to do a comparison. And
even I could say that goal.
But it wasn't as bad as your boy Jurgensen for Chelsea the other night. Oh my God, that's awful.
Oh wow. That was diabolical as well. Even I think that was the 89th minute where Asensio took a shot and it flipped from his own between the legs. It was funny to watch. I think Kingsley, that guy really frustrated me in that Villa game. I was able to throw my TV, when I was.
Kinski's 21.
Yeah,
he's still a kid. He's got a lot of growth.
He's 21, but that was massive. That was a massive game to let us down. It was Villa in a cup game. We were away. He let that goal in, and everything went downhill. All of our plans, strategies. It was a massive game to let things down.
True. Just on the flip side, though, he made another 5 saves beyond that.
No, I couldn't watch second half. I was really frustrated with first half. Like I switched my TV off. Against Liverpool, I would play Foster instead of him. At Anfield, an experience. You cannot throw a young keeper who has no experience in playing at this high level. I would play Foster instead of Kingsley against Liverpool as well. He was massively nervous. You could see his leg was shaking every time he got the ball. He kicked long. He couldn't find any player. Oh my God, that was the worst keeping performance I've ever seen. I think Kingsley needs to take a look at himself and needs to improve more. I think he will do good. He's a young keeper. We've seen a few signs of him, but he has been a letdown as well. You cannot do that mistake. You cannot cost us as a goalkeeper in that massive moment. That was a massive letdown for me.
We've got a couple of other very good goalkeepers in Josh Keeley and Luca Gunter. Gunter, I really like. Right. Yeah, Keeley's had 13 clean sheets at Orient.
Yeah,
he may struggle to hang on to him if he thinks his path is blocked. We're not sure.
So. We're probably going to get rid of Foster in the summer. You're probably
you're
going to have to let Alfie Whiteman go because there's no.
Although he's homegrown. So
I don't know whether Whiteman plays football anymore.
I don't know if Whiteman will go. because you need 4 of your homegrown players have to be with the academy for 3 years for the Europa League squad. And this is why we've penalised by a 23-man squad instead of 25, because they're the only 2. So I think we've got to keep them whether we want or not.
Brandon Austin signed to 2029?
Yeah, he's the other one. Whiteman and Austin, they're the 2. I mean, Forster's homegrown, but he just counts as one of the 8. But then you've got Johnson, Madison, they're homegrown. Davis, I think, even counts as homegrown now because he's been there, but we don't know if he's staying. Because after a couple of years, you then qualify. It should all be one rule, really. Unless
it's like a Dougie next season's going to be homegrown, but he's not academy trained, so he'll count the quota.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter with your under 21s because you can have as many under 21s in your B list for Europa League games, right? As many as you want, allowed under rules. And you don't have to have a set list and name list. You only have to name that list, and it can be a different list or vary 24 hours before a Europa League game. So Mikey Moore's on that list. And this is why, like, Gray and Bergvall are not homegrown, not on the B list, because they haven't been with our academy for 2 years. So they don't count.
I think they don't count as a club trained, Gray and Bergvall. They are homegrown players, but I don't think they'll be counted as a club trained. Like Skip was a club trained player, but he's not getting minutes in Leicester team as well now.
Skip and Winks were. They would have qualified. Kane did, obviously.
Yeah,
Let's
Kane
move on to these 2. Mackin, stay with you. Both of them been outstanding, really.
Yeah, Dancer, I really like Dancer. If suits the system more than Dragusin. Like he's good with the ball, he's fast, he's got his recovery pace, and I think he has got that fighting spirit in him as well. He wants to improve, he wants to fight for the team. He puts in body in the line to get in tackles in front of the shots. I think I like Dancer and Gray. What can be said about Gray? I think he has taken the challenge with his both hands. He's grabbed this opportunity. He has got experience in Premier League now, but I want to see him in a midfield that in his natural position where he's more comfortable. You could see that ball he put in with Sonny. It was magnificent, like over the top, like it was spot on right into his legs. Yeah, you can see quality and it's great. But I don't know when will he play in the midfield. I want to see Gray in the midfield. Like, what can he do against the best? Like in the midfield. I want to see Gray in more of his natural position. But Dancer and Gray, they've been impressive for me.
And for fans that don't know, Blaine, Danso's homegrown, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he was in a Southampton academy, right?
Yeah.
He was at Milton Keynes and Reading. He spent a good 6-7 years. Yeah. And he only left Southampton after COVID when he went to France. So,
and for me, Danso, we were talking about this backstage just before. So, interestingly, Danso was played on the left-hand side of the defence. I'm wondering, is that a bit of foreshadowing for him to rotate with VDV? Because Danso won't start ahead of Romero. If Romero's fully fit, he's our number 1 starting center.
Yeah. And prefers Romero, yeah.
But VDV and Danso actually offer a lot of the same, i.e. recovery, good coming forward with the ball, brilliant ball carrying skill. But interesting for me as well, Danso is good in the air that VDV isn't. That's VDV's biggest weakness. He's not great in the air. Yeah,
that's an important factor. Yeah, he's really strong and he can defend. Yeah, I like that.
So if you've got a centre back pairing of Romero and Danso, let's say if VDV is not fully fit or you're rotating them, you've got that beautiful pairing of both defenders strong in the air, both very, very strong defenders physically as well. The recovery speed of Danso and the ball playing skill of Romero. So you've got a lovely centre back partnership that cover all areas.
Yep.
Interestingly, so Gray, here's an enigma. Where do you fit him into the midfield? Who do you drop? Because I know we keep saying that our midfield's not the best at the moment, but do you drop Bentancur? Do you drop Bergvall to fit him in?
I think he's a number 6, right? He's a defensive midfielder.
Supposedly, we've yet to see him at 6.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. Like the only time we've seen him in the six was against Bayern Munich in the friendly game, and he was torn apart in that game. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And Bergville came on and like looked really good in that second half. I remember,
yeah,
yeah, that was the worst game I see Gray play. Actually, that was a pre-season friendly.
Yeah.
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 That's
I mean, also with Danso, he's got a bit of experience, isn't he? He's about 26, whereas
yeah,
VDV's still learning his trade. Dragison's still learning his trade, right?
Dragon. Yeah,
I would expect Dragison to get better with rest and all that anyway, because he's got the
Mhm.
speed and out of a traditional centre back. His passing's crap though at the moment. But then you keep it simple. It's to say to shout, it's to yell at Davison Sanchez. Just keep it simple when you got the ball. Give it to someone who's better with it than you are. You know. But
There's another enigma. Again, sorry to come off track, but Dragusin looks so good for Romania in the Euros. I've yet to see it
yeah.
like it for us.
I think with Dragusin, he's a good centre back, but he doesn't fit the system like the way Ange wants to play in the high line. His recovery, he can't turn back that quickly as Danso, and he has a limited passing ability. So I think Dragusin is a good defender when he has a job to defend, but when you ask him to pass the ball, drive with the ball, I think he can't. He's weight limited in those aspects. But overall, I like Dragusin. I like the looks of him, but he's limited sometimes.
But again, a bit like Porro, he's never played in a system that he's used to. He came from a back three system,
Yeah,
where he had cover, he had time on the ball.
yeah. Ruben Almorim would love to have him back right now. I think if Ruben Almorim has our team, I think he would start. He would hit the ground running straight away. I think he has everything. We have everything he needs, like two wing backs, three defenders, a striker, midfielder, playmaker. But it's the same that he's at United.
we'll take Yvonne Toon. Big up Yvonne Toon. Thank you for the question. Do you think Romero will sign a new contract? Blaine?
I think if he does, there's the usual Levy chat in the year, gentleman's agreement. If you sign this and Madrid come in offering you 120 million, you can go. That's I think the only way possibly at the minute. But it's a. You were talking about this backstage as well, Adrian. Romero does apparently love Ange, so is the Ange factor going to keep him there? Let's look at worst case scenario. And again, I'll not apologize. I'm an Angeitist, right? But I can live with him being here the rest of the season. Let's say he goes in the summer. Does Cootie then sign a new agreement? I don't think he does.
Well, my take is if he doesn't sign, it's 2 years left on his contract when he comes down. If he doesn't sign one, and they've offer him, they're in talks at the moment, or Levy's in talks with his entourage, then you sell him. If you get a buyer, I mean, how many people can afford him, and is he going to take a step down? So it's saying I don't want to sign a new contract, but if Real Madrid go for someone younger like Saliba or someone else like that, then all right, they might see him as the next Sergio Ramos, right? Which he would be that for them if they needed it. But I think he's a fantastic footballer. I think he's much maligned by the Spurs fan base. They like VDV and give him the vote because he's the sexy one with the pace and looks good. You know what I mean? But everything goes through Romero. We miss his progression upfield when he's been gone.
It's his range of passing out from the back.
Yeah.
That one ball over the top that Dragusin doesn't have in his locker, that even Danso doesn't really have in his locker. VDV doesn't have. Just that defense splitting ball makes a big difference.
Yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes defensively, I think he switches off sometimes. Like you saw that Vardy goal against Leicester. The ball was right in front of him. He didn't even jump or didn't even mark Vardy. I don't know what's on with him defensively. Sometimes he switches off really, and sometimes he does some silly things, gets a handball here and there. I don't know. But in terms of his ball playing ability, he's a top notch. He's good defensively, but he switches off. That's my issue with him, Romero. Top defenders, if you're world class, you don't do that. You don't make mistakes. You concentrate for 90 minutes. You wipe off every ball that comes into your box. You remain switched on, but sometimes Romero does some silly things. That's what bothers me.
We'll move on to these three guys. They're the last three in the game.
Oh yeah.
Bergvall, Bentancur, and Tell. Blaine. Bentancur, we're offering him a new contract, so Ange obviously wants to keep him.
Yeah.
I don't see him leaving. Well, what is he, 27 now, 26, 27?
Yeah, he's about the same age as Romero.
Yeah, so if you give him a 4-year contract with an option another year, 5,
I'm all right with Bentancur staying, but
Yeah.
definitely an area that we could improve upon. I think he's a great rotational player, very solid depth in the squad, but you see it in his legs. He just hasn't looked the same since that big injury. He doesn't seem to be able to 5 or 6 games consistently.
Well, if that is the case, I mean, I thought he was coming back to his best, and he got that 7-game ban and whatever.
Yeah, so you got the ban from us, you got the ban from Uruguay,
and he's outstanding against in the away game against I forget
United. I think
yeah.
Manchester United, he was outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, but Brentford. Yeah, and so I like player.
I mentioned earlier, right? The 4-2 win against Leicester whenever Sonny scored the hat trick, right? You look at Bentancur's performance that game compared to what we think today is a really, really good performance, and it's like 90.
When he played away at Chelsea and scored, do you remember that game? Again, he was like really good. Yeah,
he was pinging first-time balls. He was making runs. He was dominating the midfield. I think that's an area of his game that's gone downhill a little bit. He seems a bit more tentative in the tackle,
and I think he's been told to sit back a bit because before he was driving us forward, and I like him when he drags us up the pitch. Bergvall probably had his best game in a Spurs shirt against Ipswich.
Yeah,
definitely vied for man of the match with Dan So saying maybe you could throw in Son and Johnson in that because Johnson got 2 goals. I wouldn't give Johnson man of the match because he just got 2 goals. Just because he got 2 goals, though,
Yeah. For Bergvall, let's see how he does tomorrow night. Undoubtedly the kid has got a good ceiling. Great talent, great prospect, but bring it back a notch. He done this against the poor Ipswich. Let's be honest. Ipswich have been poor second half of the season. He done it against the poor Man United. Can he do it up against a midfield that contains De Bruyne? Going up against proper top defenders. Let's see. If he does, for me, he's starting to show his true colours. Yeah. And let's not forget the kid's been playing for us for 6 months.
And all I've seen from Tell is sweat and graft and trying too hard as if he's desperate to score goals. But if you're talking about spending another 40 or 50 mil on Tell in the summer, he's got to show something in this like the rest of the season.
Yeah,
he might have made mistakes at youth level, but he ain't. Look, he's young, so you don't want to throw him on the bus, but he's yet to set the world alight. Let's put it that way.
But he has showed the flashes of inspiration that he has. I mean, that goal he took against Villa.
That was a
finish.
Yeah,
that's a proper instinctive, top quality finish, and that's what I thought was instinctive. That's the difference for me between him and Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson's finishes always still look a little bit. Tell that was quality, right? And if that's what he can offer, let's see how the rest of the season goes.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I was man of the match in that game. I'm sure we'll pick a different one. I'm giving it a Danso. He chipped the ball forward for Scarlett to head it on for Decky to get a last goal. But I've just been impressed with him. I've just been so impressed with him. Boy, did we need a player like that at the back, He's coming.
I give it to Spence.
Fine.
Again, he's given us 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 performances since he's come in.
What about you, Matt Penn? You got a different man of the match? You can pick one or one of the same. It doesn't matter.
I think man of the match, I would give to Bergvall. Or Spain's, I think it's 50-50 between both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bergvall, I think...
They're all good calls, actually.
Yeah, both were exceptional. I think Spence, he scored a goal. He did some good things, and Bergwell, I think he controlled that whole midfield against Switch. My man of the match would be Bergwell. Yeah.
Okay. Got a few
Yeah.
chats to go for, only 5, I
Yeah.
think. Son Gay and get VD out of there to Liverpool. Oh, I disagree. Everyone's writing off VDV. I know the issue with ACLs and all that, but
I can see
different injuries. He's had they're different injuries.
I mean, like my biggest fear, I said it in the group chat. My biggest fear with VDV is does he become another Ledley King, where you only get to see him 50% of the season?
That's tough to watch. I think VDV, he's getting lots of injuries nowadays.
I actually agree, Andrew Tyre. I think we do need 2 midfielders, not 1.
I'd agree as well.
I mean, and you can do it. It depends. I mean, like when you've got a squad of 25 for the Premier League, if you've got 2 in every position, that's 22. And the extra goalkeeper, the third goal was 23. It does leave you 2 other options. You could have them both as midfielders. And I actually think the way the Premier League is, I think I'd prefer to have them both as midfielders because, like, it's a hard slog, and our midfielder's gone missing so many times.
Just in response to that question, do you think one of those midfield spots could be taken up by Jamie Donnelly coming back?
Yeah, I actually, I'm getting onto this next. After this, the next banner was right. Let's get it up. Where are we? Good point. You've raised, Blaine, because I've been thinking about this and think, okay, we could bring in 5 players to improve this squad. We definitely need a number 9 winger. Not so urgent because we got so many and they can play on both sides anyway, right?
Maybe on the right a little bit, but
Two midfielders would give you 3. And even if you thought, okay, with all our defenders fit, and bear in mind you got Vasquez, Dorrington, and Phillips. If Davis stays, Romero stays, VDV stays, Danso stays, Dragerson stays, and you've got Gray, you got 6 that can play as central defence there without the 3 kids. Right, that's 9. Right, 9. So if Romero goes, it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? We've got, although I would miss him, I don't want him to go, right? So then you can say, okay, and then you've got to look at it this way. If we're going to spend another 50 mil, whatever the price is, it's inflated. It might be just 50 mil in total for Tell. If he's considered good enough and they pay the other 40 mil up, then it's not likely we're going to go out and pay. We might spend 50 million on another striker, but we ain't going to. Most players we're going to be bringing in, unless we sell Basuma and all that, is probably 3 in the January transfer window. And if we need and if that means that if we ship out Werner, Richarlison, Basuma, Forster, and say another 5,
Reguilon's gone in the summer.
Whatever, then you've brought 3 players in. You've spent over 100 mil. We ain't going to be spending much more than that, So then you could bring 2 in. I would bring Donnelly in. I would definitely bring Donnelly in as one of them, and you could bring another Camberley player in. So we don't know what's happened with like Elijah Velez, right?
I think Velez won't make it.
I'm not sold on Velez. I'm not sold on Velez.
We haven't seen enough of him, have we? What have we seen? Nothing. He scored a goal against Brighton in a 4-2 when we were losing. We were 4-0 down and pulled 2 back. And he showed good guts in a home game when he was obviously injured and didn't want to come off, but like he had to in the end. But apart from that, the video clips when he was in Argentina, I haven't seen too much of him, have we? So
no, I mean I've been tracking his stats over at Espanyol. He's only got 1 goal in 14 appearances.
He got a hat trick in a cup game, didn't he? But that was in a lower league. Right?
How many games did he play for Espanyol, by the way? Did he start a few games?
14 appearances now. Most of them off the bench. Started.
And how many games has Espanyol played yet till today? I think it's
26, 27, I think.
So when did he make his last appearance for Espanyol?
Not too sure. I need to have a look.
He
I
has been
think,
coming on the subs and things like that. But look, if he'd been setting the world alight, you'd seen it in like
yeah,
Alistair Gold and all that. Keeps a good check on them and all that. So we'd have been here.
yeah,
The other ones over here doing very well on the loan
yeah.
watch.
I think with strikers, I think they won't make it at quite young age. Like this Solanke, he was struggling for Liverpool when he was young, and with all of these strikers, we need cheap strikers. I think we shouldn't go for a young striker. I think we should go for established one who has experience under their belt. So I think Tail will also struggle in the Premier League to adapt. I don't think he will be that good this season, or he can make it with the next season. But we are yet to see from Willis. I don't think he will make it at Spurs, by the way.
I mean, question on that, Adrian. Do you think we send him out on another season-long loan, see if it works? Because he's contracted until 2029. So
yeah, I can see them. Yeah, if it means you just contract him and then like they ain't costing you. I mean, he won't be on top wages. So like, keep him because if he improves and you don't want him, then you get some money for him, wouldn't you?
You mean Willis? You would keep Willis?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Would you keep Willis? You mean Adrian?
Would I? Look, he'd have to come in pre-season, and then like they'd have to have a real good look at him pre-season because his loan's up. So then I mean, like we haven't. It's like, I mean, we haven't. Put the loan watch up here, right? So yeah, I can't form an opinion on someone I haven't seen. I mean, normally I'd wait to the end of the season. Actually, me. I mean, back in the day, we only judged a player after his second season. Now, judging a player after his second minute.
You mean in the 80s? You mean in the 80s? Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 80s, would you judge a player on his second season, or would you judge him how he performs in his first game in the 80s, like when he used to watch football, Adrian?
Well, because we didn't. Well, in '78 when Argentina won the World Cup, and then we got promoted from the second division on goal difference, and the last game of the season that went to typical Spurs 0-0 draw at Southampton, and then we brought them in, and we knew they were good from the start. You just knew it, and you already had Odell and Perryman were already there. The team that went down was poor in a lot of areas, though. And then,
so when we
in 1980, we brought Archibald and Crooks, and they were the icing on the cake. So I'd already watched Hoddle and Ardiles and Vila, and we already knew that those players were superb. The three of them were world class. Like,
was Ardiles playing for Villa at that time?
Sorry?
Did you say that Ardiles was playing for Villa at that time before we bought him?
No.
Ricky.
Oh,
he was.
I think
Ardiles was with Argentina, wasn't he? And we got the pair of them for something like 475,000 or something.
It's worth about 60 billion in today's money, but
wasn't that expensive at that time?
I would expect, I would expect a couple of the youngsters to be added to the squad. I think if it was Vaskovic and Donnelly, that would do me.
Yeah, I don't think now, except Vaskovic and Donaldson, add more young players because the quota is full. I think we are full of young players. We've got lots of young players. I think.
Yeah. So if you're looking at that list, right, next season, Keeley another loan, Donnelly. Do you put Donnelly into a championship side just to give him that further experience? Because he's done brilliantly in League One. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
I think give him one more season.
It's another step up.
Vaskovic has got, for a centre back, he's got 7 goals in about 20 odd games for Westerly with Devine.
Yeah,
just what Ainge wants.
I like Devine, but he lost a year of his development when they changed their management at Plymouth, I think, wasn't it? So
yeah, he does. Phillips,
I think Vuskovic will play.
Phillips is doing well at Stoke. Abbott is smashing it at Notts County. I posted a video of him today, actually, and he's like a cam defensive midfielder, and he has played in the back four before now, but he is tenacious. He was given a go pre-season and in a pre-season friendly, and he was crap. It was rubbish. But I mean, like, he never got into the game. His game went way. I think that was against Bayern. I mean, like,
I don't think Andrew Phillips has also.
but he's only 19 now, Abbott, because he came out the under-18 squad as captain of the under-18s, and then he went straight in as captain of the under-21s.
Do you think he'll make it at Tottenham? But do you think he will make it at Tottenham? This guy. Do you think he will make it?
Yeah.
No.
Dorrington at Aberdeen, he's 6'3". I mean, Ashley Phillips is 6'4". I think Vuskovic is 6'3" and a bit. Dorrington's better on the ball than Phillips.
I think Dorrington needs more game time, so I put him out on loan again next season. Personally,
Is he playing at Scotland right now for Aberdeen?
Yeah.
He's starting for them. He's starting for them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good for his development.
Girls is too only. They don't want to pay the money for him. It's about, but like these European clubs take the piss when it comes to buying players. They really do. Like, if you believe the rumours, he's not fancied by Ange, so we'd sell him for 10 or 15 mil. Cost us nothing. Menhir made a goal for QPR recently. Gunter's at Wealdstone. The last time I looked, Wealdstone lost 4-0. I mean, but they probably played a game or two since then.
Adrian, you'll know more about this than I do because I haven't really tracked Luka Gunter. What's his performance has been like this season?
This season, I don't know. Last season, he was brilliant.
Right.
Yeah, I watched the under-21s game.
I mean, I think he's gonna. I mean, like, but he's young. Keelan's young.
He's really young.
I mean, like, and
keepers and strikers,
they're always. It's always very hard to get a loan for a goalkeeper because it's such a risk position for a club to take you on loan. I mean, if you're a striker, you miss a chance. Okay, you missed a chance. You might not cost your club a game, but goalkeepers, they are it's the deadly choice when you're picking a goalkeeper. But Keely's got 13 clean sheets at Orient.
And it comes back to we have
flying recently. They just beat Wrexham away. Donnelly scored a cracker.
I watched a few of the Orient game. I think both of them look really good, especially Josh Keely. I think he's really good with his feet as well. He can pass around.
I haven't seen much of Keely. I was asking David Harris about him because he's Irish kid, isn't he? And Donnelly's from Northern Ireland, brought in as a striker, and Wayne Burnett converted him to a number 10. He's got a wicked defence splitting forward pass on him.
Yeah.
Not frightened to thread that ball forward.
The trouble is when he got his chance under Ange, he put him at freaking left back. Like, come on.
Yeah,
that was bespoke.
Right side of the penalty area in that friendly as well. Like, naturally instinct to get forward, right?
I was really pissed off too, as well, saying Donnelly at left back. I think today, Orient are playing Birmingham City, right? Today, I think that's a big.
I haven't looked at today's matches, to be honest with you.
That's a big game for both of them.
If you want a quick update, Palace thumped Villa 4-1. Thumped them all over them. Wolves lost at home against Fulham. Brighton beat Bournemouth. And Chelsea are 3-0 up against Southampton.
All right. Yeah.
What about Birmingham and Orient?
I'm just going to look now. 1-0 to Birmingham, 10 minutes to go.
Oh, sad. Has only been taken off?
Orient went down to 10 men after 12 minutes.
I think Orient will make it to playoffs, but somehow. This Palace slapped Villa 4-0. Oh my god.
4-1.
What am I doing there?
Villa are on the bomb right now.
I watched a video of Amelia Mason.
What is it?
The young Irish striker we got.
Oh, yeah. I was able to talk about it as well.
He has got a slick turn and quick feet as well. When the way he shuffles, he gets out of situations with a quick turn. I mean, Spence does it, and he does it as well for a forward, right? He's definitely got something about him, but we'll see. Hi, Lisa. You're all looking good forward to game. Or much loved it. Thank you, Lisa. Big up. Where am I with my banners? Right. These are our fixtures. Actually, right. We know I'm going tomorrow. I assume that's a 19:30 kickoff. I mean, most of them are usually 8 o'clock. They usually give people a time. There's always people rushing to get in the ground for an 8 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, people go to work, you know.
It's half 7 kickoff.
Yeah, and then we've got a week till we play Alkmaar. We'll come on to Man City after we've done this. Then Sunday the 9th, we've got Bournemouth at home, 2 o'clock. And Thursday the 13th, Alkmaar at home. Alkmaar got a very good home record, apparently.
Yeah.
Worst ways I'll take a draw there. We'll beat them at the Lane. We beat them before and we'll be stronger this time. Then we got Fulham away, Chelsea away. And Chelsea on paper, the money they spent, they just can't score goals at the moment. They don't seem to have all that money they've spent. They just don't seem to have bang it in the net. So none of these fixtures, you get a few wins and your confidence level goes up. None of these fixtures, I don't see why we can't win them all, to be honest.
For me, Fulham away and Bournemouth stick out. Actually, probably the two biggest ones. Like Chelsea away is never easy. I mean, when was the last time we beat them away from home?
Chelsea, I think that's a loss for me.
Was that when Dele Alli and Ericsson scored? Remember Ericsson got the equaliser just before half time and the keeper went right in the roof of the net. Do you remember that one?
No, I remember. I'm just trying to think, have we beaten them away since? I don't think we have.
We've drawn 2-2 with a last-minute corner. Kane scored.
No, I don't think we have.
We've only got 12 league games, and then these are our remaining fixtures after that. Saturday 12-8, Wolves away. Then we've got Forest at home. Liverpool away, all right, tough game. They might have the league wrapped up by then, by the way they're going.
And then maybe focusing on Champions League by that stage, Adrian, we hope.
Yeah. Saturday 3rd of May, West Ham away. Their cup final. Then we got Palace at home, Villa away. We smashed them 4-0 last season, didn't we, away?
Yeah.
With players coming back, and you've got to look at it like, look, these other teams that ain't stuck with injuries, their squads will be panting for breath now. And they'll as Ange says, some of them teams, they're going to be struggling for fresh legs. And now we're not in a 2 cup competition. There'll be a break when the FA Cup games and maybe a break. I don't know about European games after we play these 2 legs. I don't know when the next legs.
If you want to clip this, you can clip this, right? I had a bit of back and forth with a couple of people on Facebook yesterday about this. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to finish on 54 points from where we are now.
Where does that take us?
To 54, probably about 7th or 8th.
I think we can get 54.
The dreaded Conference League positions. Although in theory, if, say, we get the extra coefficient place, that's 5 for Champions League. If one of the team finishes out there and wins the Champions League, that would be a 6th place.
Yep.
And then if whoever wins the Europa League, which is going to be us, right? We're going to win it. That's a 7th Champions League place.
7th.
You would have 2 Europa Cup places, or Europa League, what they call it now. That'd be 9. Conference 10th. It's not going to work out like that, but in theory it could. But all the stars.
In a very strange universe, Adrian.
Yeah, all the stars will have to align for that to happen.
Well, there's 7 planets outside at the minute, so you never know.
Although Pluto's an exoplanet now, apparently. I had a tenner at 9-2 on Spurs to win it. Recently, but that was before we played Elfsberg. Then then we get the international break. I don't know what players will be getting a rest period because we don't know who's going to get called up in squads. But
I think Spence for England.
Yeah. Do you think Madison sneaks back into that? I don't think he does.
I don't think as well. Yeah, I think Rogers will be called for match instead of Madison.
Tuchel, pick his squad, because if you look at Albania and Latvia, no disrespect to them, but you might think, well, yeah, I can have a look at these players against these teams, so I might pick them.
Yeah.
Question, actually, Adrian. So, Solanke's rumoured to be, 1 or 2 weeks away from fitness. Do you think he makes the England squad?
I hope not.
I don't think as well you'll make it. I think
I
Watkins
just
will
want,
go.
I just want VDD and Romero back and I think they'll be like Romero was training today, right? He's started training. VDV has been looked after. He's not injured, but they're just monitoring and they're scanning the injuries after they've healed anyway. They're having scans as well. Both of them are going to be ready for Alkmaar away. They'll both be ready for Alkmaar away.
I think in VDV's case, it's more mental. I don't think it's physical anymore. I think it's him mentally recovering.
I wouldn't be surprised if VDV started tomorrow.
Really?
You mean tomorrow?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he's had a layoff from the time when they weren't going to risk him. Andrew's very coy on it. Have you noticed that there's always surprises, like because not all the reporters ask the right question.
Yeah,
they're too busy asking crap questions most of the time. And
yeah,
VDV, he didn't have a relapse on. They said, oh, he felt something before, but just to feel something and then have regular scans. I think he's fit, and I think he has been held back because Ange can rotate and rest. And I think VDV's ready, personally.
Yeah, I think VDV should be set for Europa games. You believe in Romero. Don't risk them for leagues.
And it is Man City, and if he is fit, and it's like all the league games are important. It's important 3 points. I mean, I'd want him in the team tomorrow for his pace with Dancer.
But then we don't really need him for his pace against City because like City, I don't know if you're going to progress on to this now, Adrian, but City will have 65-70% of the ball.
Yeah,
he's not going to have to make those long busting 50-yard runs back because we will sit deeper just naturally against City, soak up pressure, and hit them on the counter.
Yeah, I think Ange also. I think he respects City more than any other team. Like he would, I think, willing to sit back more than to attack them. More than to press them. I think nobody presses City. I think they will sit back.
Before we move on to City, just this because. My thinking, I'll give this some thought. Now, I'm pretty sure we'll get rid of Richarlison, Werner, Bissouma, and Forster. That's 4, right? Do we actually see us bringing in 4 new players in the summer? Bear in mind we haven't paid for Tell, and if we keep him or want him, and and if we get rid of one of the goalkeepers, then it's 5. I think we're looking to bring in two youngsters like Vuskovic and Donnelly, saying, or Lancashire even, and if they can come in the squad anyway, because they're younger. But I don't see us, if we're paying the money they want for Tell, and I'm not sure we paid the money for Danso, we really need Basuma to go out if we're going to get in more than 3 players.
I think we bring in... Right, so here's my take on it.
Sure.
We signed 2.5 players, so the half being Tell because he's already there, right? I think we sign a new midfielder, whether that's a 6 or a box to box. Let's see, because Ams doesn't like playing with a 6. We've seen that.
Yeah,
and I think we've signed a new left back cover if Ben Davies leaves because Davies obviously can fill in at centre back and left back. And with Reguilon going in the summer, unless you're going to rotate Spence in the left back position, that leaves you still short on right back. So it's either or. I think preferably get in a new left back.
It's a question of the money, whether what you get for Basuma and Richarlison. If you knew you were getting good money on them, then you could bring in 4 players or something like that. But then you're blocking the pathway of others, right? You're blocking the pathway of a Donnelly or Vuskovic especially. I think he should go straight in the squad, in my opinion. But that's only my opinion for what it's worth. I mean, yeah, and I would bring Donnelly in as well, and like that'd be 2. I haven't given no thought to the age things, whether you can just bring Donnelly in anyway, because he's only 19, isn't he? 19, 20. I think he's only, and Vuskovic has only just turned 18 this month. That's why we can bring him in the summer because he wasn't 18, so he can't. He couldn't be brought in.
Contract, same as Bergwall,
yeah. That's why when they bring the players in, just as like normally when they're 16, you can give them a 2-year scholarship and a 1-year professional contract. I think this is employment law to protect players from being exploited. That's why we nick players when they get into that situation of that 1 year at other clubs, and they nick ours as well, right? And if they're not getting game time, that just happens. But then I would have thought with Mikey Moore, because he was only 17 in August, they had to give him the 1 year contract, right, on top probably, or a 3 year, or put options on it. Or once you've done 1 year, he's done 1 year there. Now you up his contract again. But Mikey Moore's not going anywhere anyway.
So I brought up his name. What do you think's going to happen to Ben Davies in the summer, guys?
If you keep him, it's not progress, is it? And like, I don't mind if he stays. If they give him another year, or whether they just let him go, or he becomes a coach or whatever. I mean, I suppose it depends on our other business and what we've got to spend. I mean, the only reason we brought Werner in was because it was an easy deal to do. And they're probably worried they wouldn't get in who they wanted to get in. So we get Werner in first. At least we've got someone. That's the way I think they went. But with Davis, he's been solid, isn't he? He's never complained.
So building off what you were saying earlier. Right. So building off what you were saying earlier about Romero, do you think we're waiting to see what happens with his contract situation before we offer Ben Davies an extension?
That could be a point. That could be a telling point, actually. That could be a telling point. If you're not staying, we'll keep him. Then you've got VDV and Davis on the left. You've still got Dragerson, Danso.
So on the right. Yeah.
And, then you bring Vuskovic in.
There's your coverage for rotation.
And you've got Gray. You've still got 6. Like I said, at present, we've got like 9 central defenders. Everyone's there. If you bring the 3 kids in, but we've got 6. I'd like to see 2 midfielders brought in, and I'd I wouldn't mind getting David Henko in from Feyenoord because he can play left centre back and left back. But I'm not sure we're going to go for any defenders. I think a number 9's a priority. If Tell's not going to be the answer, or whether they look at Elo. See, there's so much. If we had a more consistent squad and we knew what the club were doing, but we still know the squad still needs work on it.
In terms of striker, I think the youngest one who is the most talented, I think that Irish guy, I think that guy is the most talented amongst everybody in terms of young striker. I think he will be better than Tell and Lancashire as well. I don't know his level, like the way has he played, but I like the looks of him when I saw his clips, like his attributes as a striker. I think he will be a top player, I think.
Well, I mean, we've been linked with Jamie Gittins and all that. Look, we ain't paying 80 million for a Jamie Gittins at Dortmund or whatever it is when we haven't even made a decision over Tell yet. It's not happening. I mean, we might get an experienced older striker in for about 10, 15 mil or something. But I think Richarlison goes, because whoever we bring in can't be any worse than Richarlison.
I think they will pay the money for Tell. I think he would be our second striker. I think he is staying, I think. And apart from that, I think Ans will prefer a winger. And I don't know whether will he sign a midfielder. I think the most important position.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind Scarlett being given a chance. I don't know.
Scarlett? I think Scarlett will go to another loan. I think he needs a different club to settle in. I think he won't make it at Tottenham, I think. They've got lots of strikers,
See, everyone's alluding to a right winger. We know Odegaard can play there. We know all right, Johnson's more an inside right than he is a right winger.
Tell can play right wing.
Cooley can play out there. Yeah. And I think this is why Ange likes first. I mean, on the left, Mikey Moore can play both sides. Right? He can play midfield as a 10. I mean, so you've got Son out there. He's going to be with us. We're not short in the wing department. I don't see that as an urgent. If we're going to go, I mean, I'd like an oven-ready number 9. I'd like another. But you're only going to do that if you get rid of Richie, right? If no one comes in for him, we ain't getting no one in. It's simple because we just won't have that sort of money.
Just need Levy to go and flog him to the Saudi league. that's
what we need. And like you alluded to on the left back position, if Spence is, I don't think he's going to be a permanent right, or if he's going to be a permanent on the right side as competition for Porro, which would be good because Porro also needs a rest, right? Then you could say we need to bring in a left back, which to me in the summer was our main priority. Should have been a left back. Should have been in the summer. I
I
wouldn't
know
have let
you wanted your man who went to Man United, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, and then it's all right
Dorothy?
going to youth with Tell on that, and even with the others. But if you're paying top dollar 50 mil for Tell minimum, saying not 60, I'm pretty sure if you went to Juventus and offered them 50 mil for Vlahovic, now that they've got Moani, they would be tempted to bite your hand off.
Adrian, would you not rather take that 50 million when Ipswich get demoted and say, give me Liam Delap? Because I'm telling you now, I hate to say it, if he doesn't come to us or go to Man United, he will be in an Arsenal shirt come next year.
Wouldn't Kuna be a better option than Delap?
Kulu? You mean Kulusevski?
Cunha.
Kuna, Wolves.
Oh.
I don't think you get Cunha given that he's just signed a new contract for anything less than 90 million.
Yeah.
I think Delap is a fantastic player.
This is another one. I don't see. It depends on what sort of striker Ange wants. If he wants another pressing striker, he wants a little bit of variation. I mean, like, I'd like Vlahovic, do some Vlahovic, because he would give you that variation.
But I think this season he has been good. He hasn't been good.
No, sure, Moani's come in there and airing the place up.
Vlahovic has fallen out of clip. I think he won't be good enough. But I would take him if he comes in. If Richarlison goes, then he's an upgrade on him, yeah.
In midfield, we've been linked with David Fratesi again.
Who's David Fratesi?
He's at Milan. He is your box to box, and he's a 6 as well. He's sort of really a complete, really energetic midfielder. But then we could end up with Johnny Cardoso because it only cost us 21 million.
Is that buyback clause still available?
Yeah.
No,
and we got to sell on, see if they sell him. So they're probably better off selling to us because they'd get more money that way.
I think Cardoso will be the good option. So.
Yeah, and then we can link with Angel Gomez because he's on a free as well. Diminutive, good bowler. He's a good bowler. I mean, he's a good footballer.
But then is he an upgrade on anything we have today?
You've got to be in midfield to be a small player. You've got to be like a Luka Modric standard or something like that. So
and N'Golo Kante, yeah, that's what you need. You need a Kante if you're going to be that size. But honestly, Angel Gomez, yeah, as you say, good bowler. But is he an upgrade on? What
I don't think
today. I don't really think he is.
Yeah, I don't think he's better than Borgwell as well. That Enzo Gomez. Do you think he's good enough?
Player to Bergwell.
I definitely think at present we're looking for a midfielder. Don't think we're looking for a winger. You got Youngmin Hook out at QPR. I don't think we're looking at a winger. I think we're definitely. I don't think. Look, any manager worth his salt couldn't be happy with the consistency of our midfield. And if the midfield don't click, we're always taught as young footballers, aren't we? Most games are won in midfield. If you ain't got the link between the defence and midfield and then the midfield to the attack, then the attack looks poor and everyone slags off the attackers. But, you've got to give them the ball. If they're not receiving the ball, why is that? Why are they not getting the ball? Why are we not creating chances? Yeah. So I think we need 2 midfielders. And if it means that at the moment we've got 7 with Kulu, if you brought 2 in, that would be 9. So getting rid 1, then you could have 8 midfielders because we said about a squad of 25 earlier. Then you could do that. Get rid of Basuma. Personally, we know now the clue's on the table. We know that Ange likes Bentancur because they're offering a new contract, right? Yeah. So he's not under threat. So you can deduce that quite easily. We know that Maddison gives you something special. Sometimes we think we'd like to be able to dig in a bit more when it gets a bit hard going. So there's that. So he's not going. Decky's not going. Gray's not going. Berryvale's not going.
Markwell's not going.
He's number 1 on the hit list, isn't he?
Yeah, Richarlison might go. Bissouma might go. I think Bentancur will extend. I don't know about Romero. What will he do?
Right. We'll preview Man City. I just want to.
Yeah.
Let me just go over the chat. 6, 9, 12. It was about 16.
I haven't seen chat at all.
Yeah, it'll be for Argentina. The international break's just coming up, isn't it? 21st of March.
Yeah.
Delap will get called up. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
may
think
well get called up.
he might. I think he might get called up.
He's a handful, that's for sure.
Yeah, he has been.
Pains me, by the way, being Irish, to see Delap going and playing for England.
Well,
So you're Irish as well?
Yeah. So I live just
Oh.
outside Belfast.
Oh.
Yeah, so you could say the same about Rice.
So is Delap?
Rice? He's double dirty to me, Adrian.
Oh, he's another Sol Campbell, yeah.
Well, double dirty in the fact he's Arsenal and English.
Zach Willis as well.
Played for Ireland though, didn't he, when he was younger?
Yeah, he played for us in an international friendly at full men's international. So,
oh yeah, Ireland is a lovely country. You listen to Irish music, mate?
Not really. Of all things, I'm actually into heavy metal. Of all things, so
do you know that Irish artist Damien Rice? Do you know him?
Oh yeah, I've heard of Damien Rice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love him. I love his music.
Awesome.
Right, let's preview Man City then. Our injury woes, as we said, 6 now instead of 14 at one time. Romero's back in training. Dragonson's out for quite a while yet. Sainki, I think he'll be back within 10 days, like you said. Even Werner's close to fitness. My God.
Do we really care?
Carlson. I think BDD's fit. I just think they're holding him back. Right, so things are looking good because now when it comes to predicting the starting 11, it don't get easy. Right, so I'll give you some obvious choices here. Who's playing tomorrow?
Big Vic.
Yeah, Vic is playing. Yeah, Vic for me as well.
Okay. Yeah. This isn't so clear cut, right?
Yeah.
Which pair?
Udogie and Spence.
Well, who would you like, and who do you think? And do it both ways. Who would you like to see, and who do you think Ange will play?
Adrian, I actually went for a completely unchanged 11 from the 11 that started against Ipswich.
Yeah, I think Udogie, he's still coming back from injury. I didn't want to risk him, but I would like him to see play, but I would prefer Spence and Porro.
I would prefer Spence and Udogie, but as you say, Udogie's still not match fit.
Yeah, he's in match fit, I think. Yeah. That's why.
If I was looking for clues, the fact that Udogie only played an hour, I think he starts against Man City because he's a tank, right?
Yeah.
And he can bully anyone they've got on the right.
Yeah, I think City has got some really...
On our right-hand side, Spencer's played a lot of time yesterday, and Porro came on as sub, didn't
he? Yeah.
No, I actually think Spence will be on the bench.
No,
Spence? No, I don't think. I don't think that will happen.
I'm just guessing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, like, just
no.
That would be criminal.
I understand the logic, but you think who's on that flank for City? Your guy Marmouche up against Porro. That's a disaster waiting to happen.
If there's Doku, I think he will skin him.
we looked at Marmouche before, never went it. Well, we were rumoured to look for him. You never know if we were.
Yeah.
But Mido, remember Mido at Spurs?
Yeah.
He was pumping Mamouche up. This was a couple of seasons ago because like Mamouche is Egyptian as well, and he was saying, "Oh, the next Salah is going."
Yeah,
He'll get chances. Well, he started. I mean, Doku's gone there. I mean, he's not exactly a prolific goal scorer, is he? He's fast, but like.
No, Doku gets to the byline. That's our problem, and he'll run things around Porro as well. I think just for solidarity at the back, you have to go Spence in it.
Yeah,
I get that against that. I know we know that Ange loves Porro. No one could be forgiven the amount of out of positions he's been caught in when we've conceded down that right hand side than Porro has. I mean, when he first came to the club, he was a disaster defensively. Then he sort of improved, and now he's gone backwards.
Yeah, I think. Last season he improved defensively. He was good, but this season I think back to basics again.
So thinking about who starts from a Ange perspective, right? Who would you like to see starting, Adrian? Would you go with Udogie and Spence or Udogie and Porro?
I would go with Udogie and Spence, but I think Ange will go with Udogie and Porro. I think Spence has played a few games of late, and I think, but see, you can always bring Spence on, right? Providing like it ain't too late and we've conceded 2 goals on the right hand side.
So you mean he's coming on? He's coming on the 15th minute then?
I would like to say Udo against Spence, but I wouldn't like to risk Udo as he's just back from injury. We need to rotate the squad, so I would prefer Spence.
I don't think Spence started on. Not now. Your doggy's been given an hour and he's fresh. Your doggy starts. He's fresh as a daisy.
Don't you think he might carry a knock again or something else?
No. He said he was only going to give him an hour.
I
He
think,
does look after the players, Andrew. Give him his due. Yeah. So he may. I don't think it would surprise us if any of those two out of those 3 start. It's just a question of we prefer. Let's move on to. He did say 7 to 10 days. Solanke, Romero, and VDV will be back. I think VDV's fit. I don't think Romero's in the equation here, but Davies, Danso, Gray.
So Davies is still 2 weeks. Davies is injured, so he's 2 weeks away.
Slight knock, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Danso and Gray.
Yeah. I think VDV will be on the bench though.
Won't Davies return for City?
No, Davies is still a couple of weeks away. And said not press conference on Monday, but a couple of days ago he said, Davies out for 2 to 3 weeks.
He had a press conference today. I did post it. I forget what he said in it. I was doing stuff while I was listening.
It was more talking about the Romero, VDV, etc.
And Solanke. They said 7 to 10 days. I think VDV's the closest to return. So
I see VDV starting against Eichmar. That's my prediction, but I still think it's a little bit too much to throw him straight into against City.
Yeah, I think you should give him a few games to make him match fit for AZ Alkmaar. I think for Bourne, I think you should give him a few 20 to 25 minutes at the end for VDV, I think.
Yeah, rotate.
Romero, if he did an hour with Udogi, I can see when VDV and Romero start, they get an hour. Unless things are going really well. Because the other thing with playing centre-back, I mean, we say, Gray's played all these games. Yeah, but the other 8 positions, outfield players on the pitch, are where most of the running's done.
Correct.
In VDV and in the centre-back position, they're not. You don't get so knackered playing as... And it's not like VDV's having to make lung-busting like runs to catch up with someone like every 5 minutes. Because when he played at left-back, he said he was knackered. You know, when he used him at left-back, he said he was knackered. He'd never done so much running like. So, yeah. And
Gray's normally did one of the 2 centre-backs to sit. You have Danso as the ball-carrying forward. Yeah. I can understand. So I think Gray 60 minutes, VDV 30, and then start. But I think Danso will start on the left and Gray on the right again.
Yeah, I think that will happen. But I don't feel confident with Gray at the defense.
Yeah, it depends if in his thinking he wants to bring VDV on.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I think right. Haaland is still a doubt for tomorrow. So Gray won't have that big centre forward. He'll have a false 9 and like David Silva or Phil Foden to play up against.
Yeah, Haaland might be back tomorrow.
He's a late fitness test, so I think Haaland's on the bench. Personally,
I think he won't start, or if he's fit, he will start. But most probably he will come up from the bench. If Haaland's against Gray, then that's a trouble. Like his physicality will bully Gray. Yeah.
Well, then if Haaland plays, Danso will be given the job of watching him.
Yeah. If Haaland plays against Danso, then we might be able to judge like how good is Danso. We'll have a clear picture of it. Like how good is Danso if he plays against Haaland.
Well, this is where it gets even trickier, guys.
Yeah.
A good show, guys. It's been a good show. I mean, like.
Yeah, it's been a good show. Actually, it's my first time coming on the show with Adrian and all. Like, I really enjoyed it.
You don't escape once you're in their clutches. It's for life, mate. You're stuck with us.
Just like Tottenham, mate.
Yeah. When I first heard about Adrian, like in Tottenham away, and I really liked the way Adrian spoke. I liked his charisma and his voice, and I followed Adrian. Then I came to know about him.
I used to take pelters in Tottenham away. That's why I don't go there no more. Right, so midfield, guys. Oh, this isn't easy, right?
I go Bergvall, Bentancur, Madison.
Yeah, I would take. We've got. Yeah, I would take as well. Madison, Bergvall, and Bentancur. I wouldn't play Bissouma or Sarr.
Kulu
I,
likes a goal against City, doesn't he? He got one
yeah,
on his shoulder. He scored on his debut. I mean, he likes
yeah.
a goal against City. So does Son.
I'd Kulu starting up top tomorrow.
Kulusevski will turn into prime Kaka tomorrow. That's the only game. That's the game we can just enjoy and relax in it, because this is the game where our players will turn up, and I feel confident in this game.
Yeah, Bentancur, Bergvall, Madison. He could get. Basuma hasn't had a lot of game time. You never know. I know we don't fancy Basuma, but he's been rested.
Good, he hasn't had a lot of game time. To me, Basuma, he's like a poor man's Wanyama. He's been so inconsistent. He shows little flurries, and then you're just like, what are you doing? Lack of concentration for passing.
And Ange loves Sarr. I mean, last season he was our best midfielder because don't forget, Madison was out. Basuma had 3 suspensions. Blah blah blah. And Sarr was easily our best midfielder last year. This year's been a bit inconsistent, but he's chipped in some vital goals.
Yeah, Sarr's been hit and miss here.
I think you need that doggedness in midfield against City. Right. Yeah. So Bentancur will run all game. Bergvall has shown that he can run all game and harry and harass.
And he's got the doggedness because he's got 8 yellow cards, right? Only 4 in the league, mine, but he's got 8.
You know what? I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind it either. I don't mind it at all.
He's prepared to get stuck in. He's not prepared to pull out of challenges, which is great.
I'll get the yellow cards up, actually. I hope I've kept this up to date because everyone knows I like to bring facts to the table. Where are we? Yellow cards. Here we go.
Let's have some facts.
Bentancur's got 6, Basuma 5. Now, the reason I've got them gone by 5 because if you get 10 yellow cards before the 32nd game, you get a two-match ban instead of the 1. You get 5 in the first half of the season. You get a 1-match ban.
Are we on game 27, aren't we?
Yeah. So these guys have not got to get 10 yellow cards before. So even Sarr, Bergvall 4, VDV 4, Basuma 5, Bentancur 6. So there's 12 games to go. So 8 games, and 8 league games. That'll take them up to that part. You don't want them. You could see Bentancur getting a ban and Basuma.
Bergvall, I think he hasn't been picking up yellow cards lately. Before the Liverpool game, I think he has improved that as well.
Yeah, he's showing his growth. He's showing that he's able to control that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even call it temper. I'd call it youthful passion.
Yeah, there's
just to not leave the boot in or not overstretch, not leave a tackling. Yeah, he's starting to come around to it. It's great.
Yeah, I think he has improved. The yellow card he's been picking, I think, is due to panic situation, or the players are through on the counter attacks and he tries to stop them and he gets booked. I think that's the situation. I think it's a good card to pick up. I don't think there's any bad in it. Not due to rashness or something else.
I put Kulu in the forward line because this is your options here. Now this could be a bit tricky as well. We know Son's playing, right?
Son's playing,
right? So
I would like Johnson up front rather than Tell.
Ooh, that's an interesting shout. I've stuck with the same front 3 again, so Son, Tell, and Kulu.
I haven't seen enough of Tell to start right away. So Johnson, I think he is good in the box. He has goals in him, and you don't need an out-and-out striker against City. You just need someone who will run into space on the break. So I think Johnson has space. He is good with finishing. So I think I would prefer Son, Johnson, and Kulu.
So it's interesting you say that Johnson has pace.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I've never seen that guy run pelt down the wing. Stein did against Ipswich. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah, well, I think
I don't know what promises he's made to Tell. I would like to see Son. What I'd like to see, I think it'll be Son, Tell, and Kulu.
Yeah, I think it'll be that.
Right, but I'd like to see. I'm different to you, Mappen. I'd like to see Son, Scarlett, and Kulu.
Some Scarlet and
Yeah, I'd like to see Scarlett through the middle.
so you want to start Scarlet in this big game and make a statement?
Yeah, I'd see. Yeah, I've got. Look, he's in the striker position. You miss a chance, it's not the end of the world, is it?
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
I'd say-
delivered.
with how much of the ball that City are inevitably going to have, they're going to have 65-70% of the possession, right?
Yeah,
I mean, even look at Liverpool, they have 35%, right? But I just think for that counter-attacking ability, and on top of that, the experience, you have to go Sonny. I'd almost say, why not start? This isn't my prediction, by the way, but why not start Odegaard, Son, and Cooley?
but Odegaard, I think
And
he's
you
also
know-
returning from injury.
Well, City won't play a low block, so Ange might play Son through the middle.
This is my thought.
As Son, I think it's not good to play in the middle. I think it'll be better in the wings.
No, he isn't against a low block. After times against a low block, he gets bullied. It doesn't work, but it won't happen.
Well, when we're playing on the break and you've got a 3v2 or even a 3-on-3, Son through the middle, Tell down one wing or Odegaard down one wing, Kulu holding the ball up to develop the play. It makes sense, doesn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, if Odegaard plays in the left, one who can take on
If
his
you
man.
wanted to hit him with pace, then like you play Kulu as a 10 instead of Maddison. Then you can have pace up the front. You can have Son. You can have Tell. You can have Johnson. You could play Son in the middle and put Kulu back and bring Maddison second half. But, you get one or two players back. I mean, this isn't a bad squad of players. It's a disjointed squad. It's not balanced, in my opinion. It's not a bad squad of players. I mean, yeah.
The squad's
It's a good problem to have, guys. That we actually have so many choices now again.
And it's going to get better. The permutations are going to go up when VDV and Romero are back and Solanke.
That
Solanke's going to be the number 9 then, but that's one thing you know.
That list up top, you rewind it back 6 weeks and it would have been 4 strong,
Yeah.
Yep.
Adrian, prediction for tomorrow?
2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs.
2-1?
Yeah, Spurs, yeah.
Yeah, I would go for 3-2 Tottenham.
So, hit you with a couple of stats, guys, right? Before I give my prediction. So, over the previous 40 games against City, the average goals in the game is 3.3, right? Between both sides, so 3.3 overall. We average this season at home conceding 1.8 goals a game. Right.
So you're going for 2-2 then, yeah?
And City average 13 shots a game. So, yes, you've called it. I'm going for a Desmond.
Yeah. Well, another fact then. The team we've beaten most in the Premier League, the top 3 teams, I think Everton, 31 games. Man City, 28. And I think West Ham are 27 or 28 games as well.
Yeah.
And like, so we do seem to have a number on them. I just think it's the way that we play. Mind you, having said that, we've even done well against them when we played low blocks, haven't we? So,
also expect an early goal, by the way. So
but the only common thing is against Man City, when we've done well against them, it's because we've been given space to play, either on the break or play through them. And we'll get that tomorrow. I mean, I like the games because they're just such good fun. They are good fun. I mean, like we're not. I've sort of given up on league position, so tomorrow I'll be more relaxed and more looking forward to the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ange wants to finish as high as he can, so
he wants to win the league.
Why not next season? Why not?
Yeah. He wants to win the league.
I've got 7 comments, guys, and it's been 2 hours. It's been a great show. Great to have you. I know you both. I've chatted to you both on WhatsApp and been on a show with Blaine before. So it's good to have you guys on. We'll get you back. I want to thank everyone in the chat. We haven't had a lot of viewers tonight, but I'm sure we'll get them on playback later because Tuesdays midweek's a funny day. People knackered work and things like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like I say, if you're watching us on playback and you like the show, you like our content, we're pretty chill, but we're a mature, sensible, discerning Spurs group here. Right? We don't avoid controversy, but we discuss all things in a sensible manner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to thank the viewers that have bothered to come watch us tonight. I want to thank my guests. You know who you are. I'll see you in the back room, and I will play you out with, if I can find it. Right, here we go. This.